take 45. I mean, I have been trying to make this video all afternoon, guys. Anyway, glad to see you. Happy that you're here. If you're new here, my name is Heather. I'm a homeschool mom. I homeschool my son, my nephew, and will be homeschooling my daughter come August. If you've seen me before, you know how this is. So this intro is not surprising to you at all. I'm a very real person. I'm not fake at all. But I have tried to make this video literally 4 times now. I have had timers go off on my phone. My dog has been whining the whole time. I have been distracted by birds outside my window. This has just been a hot mess. But I really, really wanted to hop on here and talk to you guys today about a few things about homeschooling. And you'll notice this is not normally where I film. Obviously you see Minnie Mouse back there. And my dining room. But I got a tripod for my camera. So I was excited about using it. Usually I have you guys propped on top of a stack of books about this tall, and then I have a stapler sitting behind my phone to prop it up. So anyway, that's usually how I do it. But today I'm trying to learn how to use this new tripod. I'm trying to, just kind of dip my toes into this YouTube thing, this whole filming thing. I'm getting a little better. I'm learning. So anyway, no, but today I wanted to talk about the pros and the cons of homeschooling. Now, this video may be all over the place. Y'all know how I am. I'm sitting right in front of my big window where my bird feeder is, and I can see all, everything outside. So I might squirrel off for a minute or two. I might get interrupted by a kid or something. And I have not made notes for this video. So if I list like 5 pros and 1 con, I'm sorry. That's just how it's going to be today. We're just going to roll with it. No, but I do have some pros and cons that I wanted to talk about, because I know that it is that time of year where the school year for a lot of people is starting to end, and we're floating into summer. And some people may be thinking, do I want to homeschool this upcoming year? Can I handle it? Can I do it? And first off, let me say, if you are mostly thinking you're going to, you're just wondering if you can do it, I'm going to tell you right now, yes, you can. You can do it. Anybody can do it. You were given your own children for a specific purpose, for a specific reason. Even the ones that you butt heads with. Trust me, because I have one of those. And if you feel like you are not equipped, you are. You are equipped to do this. You are equipped to handle your children. No, but I wanted to talk about some pros and cons. And the very first pro that I wanted to list, and some people do disagree with me on this. Some people have told me in confidence, Heather, I don't see how in the world you spend so much time with your children and not go crazy. Well, a lot of you can tell by my videos, I am a little bit crazy. You can see they give me a little bit of a twitch in my eye. But no, anyway, the one of the pros is that I get to spend so much time with my children, and well, with my son, my daughter, and my nephew. And that has been a wonderful roller coaster of an experience. When we first started, we were in that honeymoon phase where everything was wonderful and it was just great and grand and all the things. And, we had good days all the time. We never had bad days. And now we are definitely into the part of the year where we have those rough days, where we don't get along, where we fuss and we fight. And you might say, Heather, how do you still consider that a blessing? How do you consider those hard days a blessing? And I will tell you, it is because children grow so fast. They grow so fast. I have a 15-year-old, for those of you that don't know. Now, I don't homeschool my 15-year-old. He's still in public school. But I have watched him grow into a young man over this past year, and it is so hard on my mama heart. watching him with his friends and his girlfriend and doing his sports and doing, taking care of all of his school stuff on his own, me not having to run behind him and do you have this and do you have that, and remembering the tiny little boy that he used to be. And I just know that they grow so fast. And I don't know if how many of you have seen this, but I have seen on Facebook, there was this little meme that said something about you only get a certain number of weekends with your kids. And for people that have to send their kids to public school, or for people that have to work outside the home, that is true. You only get so many weekends with your kids. But me, because I homeschool, I get every day with my kid. And that is a blessing. I get to watch him grow. I get to watch him learn. I get to be there for him when he's struggling. I can hold his hand through this whole process. I can read with him. I can joke around with him. I get to eat breakfast and lunch with him. I get to go on field trips with him. I get to take him places that he wouldn't normally get to go with a public school. There's just so many things. And with Hannah, my 3-year-old, she's not in a daycare. She's with me. So I get to watch her learn and do things and color and have fun and run around the house in her pajamas and just be a kid. I get to watch these things. I get to see these things. And that is such a blessing to me, because I did not have my children so that someone else could raise them for me. Now that might ruffle some feathers for some of you that may have to work, or some of you that may not be able to homeschool because you work. I'm not cutting you down at all. I'm not saying that I'm better than you are because I don't work, or I'm better than you are because I can homeschool. I'm saying that I'm very, very blessed in that aspect of my life, that I can be at home with my kids, because I know a lot of people can't. In this world that we live in now, it really does take a whole lot to raise a family and to keep a home and things like that. So I get that. But that is definitely a pro, is being able to spend so much time with my kid and get to know him, get to know his little personality, and see little things as he grows, see him morph into a young man instead of a little boy. I missed that with Isaac. I really did. I missed it with him. He just kind of grew up overnight, and I feel like I wasn't there to see it because he was gone all the time at school. And then when the weekends would come, we were so busy trying to, keep up with the house or travel ball or whatever that we were doing, that, I missed it. I just woke up one morning and he was 15 years old. But with Heath and Hannah and my nephew Keelan, I'm soaking in every bit of it that I can soak in. Now that I've talked about a pro, let's talk about a con. And this might not ring true for everybody, but for me it does. A con of homeschool for me is the cost. A lot of people can get really, really creative with their curriculum. They can say, oh, well, we just went to the library and rented a history book, and that's how we're doing history. That's how we're doing science. We do math on Khan Academy. We do, all these things. Like they can get really creative and kind of mishmash their curriculum together. I can't do that. I cannot do that. I have to have it all in one place. I have to have structure, and I need guidance. This is my very first year doing this. And even though I've been doing it for almost a year now, I still feel like I need something to grab onto. You know what I mean? So yes, I do the big box curriculums. We started out the year with The Good and the Beautiful, and I really wish that we could have finished that, because we did spend a lot of money on it, and I put a lot of effort into research before we did The Good and the Beautiful. But it just didn't work out anymore for our family dynamic after my nephew came into the situation, because now that I tutor my nephew as well, I had to have something so that the kids could be a little bit more independent and didn't require so much one-on-one teaching time. And that is something with The Good and the Beautiful, is it requires that you sit right next to your child and you read them the lesson, and then you help them with their work. And then, I mean, they do have some independent work, but it's mostly you and the child sitting there together. And that's really hard when you have more than one. I'm sure a lot of people have it figured out, but me, being my first year, I just haven't figured that out yet. Now, maybe in the future we might go back to The Good and the Beautiful. Who knows? But for right now, I have to use Me Academy so that the boys can do it independently of me. I do help them every now and then. Like, I might help them take notes on a science video, or I might help them figure out math problems or something like that. But it's not as labor intensive for me. So, but we spend money on Me Academy. We spend money on a lot of manipulatives. There's a lot of times that I buy books rather than rent them from the library because the wait list for them is so long. We have done this whole classroom. We bought this table. We got 2 big storage cabinets. We had to get a laptop. I've got this bookshelf over here. I've got books on it. We have put a lot of money into this homeschooling adventure, and that is something that I consider a con of homeschool, is how much it can cost. And if you're working on a one income household, it can be really, really hard. Like I said, you can get really creative if you're comfortable with that. But for me, I'm just not comfortable with that. So another pro, since we just talked about a con, we'll go back to a pro. Another pro of homeschool is the flexibility of the schedule. We have had this past week, we have had dentist appointments, chiropractor appointments, hair appointments. We went and visited a friend. We had a co-op field trip that lasted all day long. The co-op field trip only lasted for like a couple hours. We could have easily gone home, but we decided to stay at the beach for the rest of the day. But we have had so many things going on this past week that it has just been to the point that I said, okay, we're just going to do just Me Academy every day, just so we can get the bare minimum done, cover all of our subjects. And that was all we could do. So having that flexibility of being homeschooled has been wonderful this week. Like, it wasn't a big deal that we had to push homeschool to the evening on Monday because, we had appointments Monday morning and Monday afternoon. So then we could wait and do it in the evening. So he didn't miss a day of school. If he was in public school, he would have missed that whole day and would have missed all that instruction time. But with homeschool, it was waiting for him when he got back home, and it wasn't a big deal. And also, like I said, Tuesday we had a co-op field trip that was like an hour and a half away from the house, and it was near a beach. So we decided with a lot of our co-op friends to stay on the beach for a long time that afternoon, and that was great. It was awesome. It was still a little chilly, but it was totally worth it. It was worth it to go and spend time with friends and let the kids play and let them have a good time. And because our schedule is so flexible, I was like, you know what? We just won't do schoolwork today. We'll make up for it on Friday. So that was another great thing. Another good thing that I love about the flexibility is our mornings aren't as rigid and hard and structured. I'm not one of those people that I don't wake up like a drill sergeant and start, marching everybody into the kitchen to eat breakfast, and I'm cooking breakfast and people are getting dressed and things are going on right as they should. No. I like to sleep in. My kids like to sleep in. And because we can start at 10 o'clock if we want to, we can start at 11 o'clock if we want to. It gives me so much more time that I can wake up before the kids if I want to and get a little laundry done, take the dog for a walk, go outside and water all my plants. I can do whatever I want to do before they wake up and let them sleep in. And that is not something that you get with public school. With public school, either they have to be on the bus like super crazy early in the morning, or you have to have them at school at 7:20 a.m. or before then. So, that's just, and you also don't have to worry about getting doctor's excuses when they're sick or, whatever. And sometimes you can't get a doctor's excuse. If it's something that they don't need to go see a doctor for, like just for a little stomach bug, they can miss 3 days of school and it's not a big deal. If they were in public school, they would, oh, that's an unexcused absence. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is horrible. Why were they not at school for these 3 days? I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with people calling me and asking me, where is my kid? I mean, that was something that I didn't really like when dealing with the public school, was having them call me asking me where my kid was. I would like to say they did it out of the goodness of their heart, just wanting to check on him and make sure he was okay. But they like to have butts in seats. I'm just going to be honest. They just do. And they have so many things that they have to cover every day that if that child misses just one day, they miss a lot of instruction time. And then that poor teacher has to go back behind them and get them caught back up. So when the kid misses a day of public school, it's bad on everybody. It guilt trips the parents. It stresses the kid out. It stresses the teacher out. It stresses out administrative assistants up there trying to take attendance and figure out who's late, who's coming in late, who's not here and why, and all the things. So having that flexible schedule can be so, so helpful. Now that was a pro. Now let's talk about another con. Let me think of a con. A con would be, and this kind of ties into spending so much time with my kids as a pro. This part of it can be a con. Spending so much time with my kids. I feel like I don't get nearly enough adult interaction during the day. So when my husband comes home, I just word vomit on him. Like all of the thoughts that I've had all day long. Either that or I'm texting my friends all day long. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on? What's happened? This is happening with us. Why? These kids are it can be hard. It can be really, really hard. Before we started homeschooling, I was used to my house being somewhat tidy every day. Like when the kids would go to school, I would clean up. I would vacuum, I would mop, I would straighten up the bathrooms, I would wipe things down, I would pick up toys, I would do laundry, I would have it all washed, dried, folded, put away before everybody got home. I would have supper cooking, I was a very busy stay-at-home mom. Like I didn't just sit on my butt and watch Grey's Anatomy all day. I was always working, always doing something. But now it's like I can say, okay, y'all get to work on Me Academy. I'm going to go in the kitchen and work on this sink full of dishes in here. 5 minutes into it, Mom, I need you. And I have to stop doing what I'm doing and come in here and help. And then before I know it, it's the end of the school day. The dishes have not gotten done. Hannah has terrorized the living room and it's a hot mess. The kids have had snacks and drinks in here in the classroom all day long. So there's food and drinks all over the table. There's food in the floor. I mean, my dog has eaten so many sugary snacks off the floor that it's embarrassing. That it's just something that you just have to get used to and just learn how to live with it. If you're one of those that a messy house drives you insane, you might want to think about this. Because it can get very crazy when you are trying to wrangle all of the kids to, stay focused and get their work done. And you're also trying to stay on top of keeping house and, being a good wife, being a good mom, and also still trying to take care of yourself. It can be a lot, and some things get overlooked, and most of the time, that's housework. Housework is the stuff that gets overlooked. And at my house anyway. Like today, me and my husband, we, bless his heart, we tag teamed it today, and we cleaned up the main living area of the house, the bedrooms. Still have to go to the bathrooms. I'm working on laundry now. Yesterday I did a lot of yard work. He did some yard work. So like on weekends, I feel like I'm just busting my butt trying to hurry up and get all these things done that didn't get done during the week, because the week is getting ready to start back over. So that can definitely be a con, is not having enough time during the day anymore to stay on top of things around the house. Now, the last thing that I want to say, now that I've listed a few pros and cons, is if you are on the fence about homeschooling, what I think can teeter you either way is if you absolutely cannot get it off of your mind, even if you are terrified, if you feel so strongly that you're being called to do it, I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to try. The worst that can happen is that you have a bad year and your kid has to go back to public school. That's the worst that can happen. Nobody's going to die from it. It's going to be okay. I was so afraid when I first started homeschooling that I would fail my children, and watching them do their work and learn all the things that they've learned, I have figured out that children are so resilient. They're so very resilient. And it has taught me to be more resourceful with teaching them things, figuring out how to teach them things. It has taught me how to be more creative with how I teach them things. But if you, like I said, if you are on the fence about it, but you cannot get it off your mind, maybe that's your sign. Maybe that's your sign that you need to give this a go. Now, if you watch my videos and you think, gosh, I could not do that. There's no way. No, I would wash my hands of it day one. No, couldn't do it. If you butt heads with your kids all day long and you just couldn't do it, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not something that you would want to venture into. But like I said, you could at least give it a try. At least try it. It has been an enormous blessing for me. I have enjoyed it so much. Now, there are days that I call my husband and I'm like, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm done with today. I'm over it. And he'll say, you said that every day. But I mean, I do have my rough days. I really do. I have a lot of rough days here lately. We've been, trying to change the schedule up, trying to change things up, and that, like I said in my last video, we've tried to change some things up and make it a little easier on the kids, and I think maybe it'll help. But if you're thinking about doing this, if you're leaning towards it, I encourage you to do it. You can do it. You can figure it out. You really can. And like I said, kids are so resilient. I have changed curriculums, schedules countless times this year, and they just go with it. They just do whatever we need to do, So anyway, I'm gonna cut this video off here. It's getting kind of long and I'm just being chatty, but anyway, I just wanted to talk about pros and cons. If you're on the fence, if you wanted to hear some of the things that, are on my mind about what pros and cons are of homeschooling, those are it. If you have any other things that you can think of, you can leave them in the comments. If you have any more questions for me, you can leave those in the comments. I do not mind answering questions. Or if you would like me to do a Q&A video, I can definitely do that. I have thought about doing that, but I gotta have some interaction. So leave me some questions in the comments so that I can do some Q&A videos for you guys in the future. And I've also thought about trying to film some spend the day with me videos, like just watching me go through my day. And even other videos that don't really have anything to do with homeschool. Like I'm really into gardening. I do a lot of gardening. I plant a lot of flowers. I have a lot of flowers right here that I just planted just this past weekend actually. and I really wanted to show you guys around. I thought that might be kind of neat. So if you're interested in seeing that, leave that in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, come back and visit. I love to chat. It's just, you know, just a channel where we can be a community and help and support each other and love on each other. So anyway, I will cut it off here, and I will see you guys later. Bye.